How to measure for replacement steel doors. This video covers the steps to take before ordering a replacement steel door. Inspect the hardware and frame. Look closely while operating the door to determine if the hardware should be replaced. If it should, you might as well replace the hardware at the same time as the door. Inspect the frame to determine if it's worth keeping. Ensure the frame is anchored solidly. If it isn't, then properly anchor it before proceeding. Verify the frame is plumb, level, and square. If the frame is out of plumb, level, or square, then replacing the door will not fix the issue. Start by using a framing square at the top of the frame at both the hinge and lock side. Use a 6-foot level or plumb bob to check for plumb and level. Be sure to check both jambs in both directions. Check the head for level. Verify the frames have the same height for both jambs. Measure to ensure the widths are the same at the top, middle, and bottom of the frame. Now use a string to see if the jambs are on the same plane. Tape a string in a cross at the face of the frame, at the top and bottom of both jambs. Measure and take note if the hinges are 3.5, 4.5, or 5 inches. Also, determine if they're standard or heavy. Any issues with the frame should be corrected before you order a new door. If you determine the frame is plumb, level, and square, then it's time to inspect the door. Measure the door. Measure the width of the door. On doors with beveled edges, measurements should be taken from the wide side of the door, noting whether beveled on lock, hinge, or both edges. Measure the height of the door. Now determine the hinge locations. Start at the top of the door and measure to the top of the first hinge cutout. Continue measuring each hinge location from the top of the door to the top of each cutout. If you have a cylindrical lock, measure from the top of the door to the top of the cutout in the edge of the door. Next, determine the backset by measuring from the edge of the door to the center line of the lock body. If you have an exit device, find the center line and measure from the top of the door to that line. If you have trim on the outside of the door, you will have to either figure out what trim it is or wait until you get the new door and transfer the trim holes from the old door to the new one. Now you're ready to order the replacement door. Click the link in the description below to access the ordering forms of steel door manufacturers, or contact your preferred door distributor for their form.